Himi sent me their viral jelly gouache set, so let's test it out. And while we paint, I'll share all the tips I have learned over the years. So if you want to get better at gouache fast, this video is for you. In this video, I'll talk about what are the tools that I use, my techniques, my brushes, and why it's gonna help you. Also, voiceovers make me a little bit nervous, so thanks for being patient with me. It means a lot. Alright, we'll start with the drawing. This is a very rough pencil sketch. You will see that I start extremely loose and these are only shapes right now. And then slowly kind of tighten it up and correct the proportions. Put all those information into its correct location. I truly believe that a good understanding of proportions, shapes and lines are so important when it comes to painting. But that's honestly a whole separate topic on its own. If you'd like me to make a video focusing just on the drawing process, let me know in the comments. I'd love to share more. I'll use warm and cool tone red, this cream color pigment, white, a little bit of green and black. I'm just gonna grab some red, add water and thin it down a lot, super light like this. It's gonna be transparent. Usually I sketch out a map for my values first, just to know where the lights and darks will go. It helps when you start layering paint. Starting with thin paints helps to stay flexible. It's easier to adjust things before committing to thicker, more opaque layers. It lets you build up slowly, make corrections if you need to, and avoid muddying the colors too soon. Even better if you add the darkest values because they help you establish the overall contrast of the painting early on. Think of them like anchor points. Once they're in place, it's much easier to judge how light or mid-tone everything else should be. Without those darkest darks, you might end up painting everything too light or too flat. But when you set the deepest shadows first, it gives you a clear guide for building the rest of the values even more accurately. It gives your work more depth and impact right from the start. Once my darkest values are in, I start roughly placing the colors and mid-tone I see. I'm not worried about details yet. I'm just blocking in the big shapes and getting a feel for the overall color harmony. No need to be perfect here, just aim for the placements. I know this part looks really ugly, but do not worry about that. We will clean it up later. Try to glide your brush around the natural forms of the face. Don't just fill in flat shapes. Think about how the face curves, the roundness of the cheeks, or the upper lips, the dip of the eye sockets, the slope of the nose. When you follow those curves with your brush strokes, your painting starts to feel more three-dimensional and lifelike. It's something I picked up from studying the masters, painters like Sargent, Zorn, and even Rembrandt. When you look closely at their work, every brushstroke had direction and intention. It wrapped around the forms, followed the planes of the face. They never just painted features, they were painting volume. You can almost feel the roundness of the cheek, the flesh, the bones underneath. Also, another thing that you guys always ask me, what paints do I use? If you're a beginner, paints come third on the priority list, because at the beginner stage you're focused on brush control, layering technique, understanding values and composition. None of that requires expensive tubes or fancy pigment. So what comes first? Paper. If you don't use a good quality paper, it's gonna crumble when layering and it will leave you frustrated. If you actually want to enjoy the process, use at least something above 250 GSM. But not the paper alone. You will also need good quality brushes. Why? Good brushes obey your movements. Like, you think sharp edge, you get sharp edge. You're learning techniques, not wrestling with rules. Quality brushes don't fight you. Like, my brushes help me with exactly what I do. Smoothing out the skin texture, dry brush techniques, sharp edges. Craftamo reached out recently to make my custom brushes available for you guys as a set. You can sign up from the first link in the description. If enough of you show interest, it might become a reality. So let's make this happen together. Remember how we started with thin layers? That helped us block in the values and colors, like sketching with paint. Then, as we gain confidence in the shapes and colors, we switch to thicker, creamier paint. That's when we add the depth, the texture, the details. The thicker paint sits on the top of the underlayers beautifully, without reactivating or muddying them. Now that we are getting close to finishing this painting, it's time to add the highlights. This step really brings everything to life. For warm lighting, we'll use warm toned white, something with a hint of yellow or peach. And for cool lighting, we will go for a cool toned white, like one with a touch of blue or lavender. Matching the highlight temperature to the lighting makes the skin glow in a way that feels natural and cohesive. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. If you learned something new or just enjoyed the process, let me know in the comments. And if you want more gouache tutorial like this, let me know that too. That's it. Bye bye.